Hi there. Welcome to the Dauntless Media Collective Discord server. For those of you who aren't familiar with Discord, or if you just need a bit of a refresher, this video is for you. So once you've joined our server via the link on our website or in the show notes of the podcast that brought you here, you'll need to set up your Discord account if you don't already have one. So just do so by choosing a username, entering your email address, and creating a password, and you'll end up right here. Now, I realize Discord can be intimidating, but once you get the hang of it, it's actually a lot of fun. Try to think of Discord servers as Facebook groups on steroids, but with something of an old-school chat room feel as opposed to comment threads on posts. Let's start with a quick overview of the Discord layout. Here on the far left are all the servers, or groups, to use a Facebook term, that you're a member of. Immediately to the right of that are the channels within this server that you have access to. Channels are something like chat rooms. So if I click this server, I'll see a list of the channels that are available to me within this server. There are text channels where you can have text-based conversations. There are voice channels where you can have hop into an audio call or a video call. There are a couple other types of channels, but since we don't use them in this server, I'm not going to go over them in the video. The large section here in the middle is the chat itself. And over here on the right is a list of the people who are currently in this server. In our server, you'll see online members at the top, you'll see bots just below them, and offline members down at the bottom. As people come online or go offline, their names and their icons will move around depending on their status. And if you're worried about the bots, don't be. They're not for spamming you or anything like that. They're actually helpful for making stuff happen in the server, but I'll go over an example of that a little later on. When you first arrive in our server, you'll see a list of channels that we call the foyer. And this is kind of like the entry point into our server. The first channel is called Start Here, so we'll start here. There's a lot of info in this channel, so I'll skip to the important stuff. You can take a look at the other stuff on your own time. So look for the message titled Getting Started. These are the steps that you'll want to take in order to get going in our server. The first step that you need to take is heading over to our rules channel and agreeing to them. So click the Welcome and Rules channel link either in the message or in the channel list on the left. I'll click the link in the message. And then, after reading through the rules, click the little pride flag icon down in the bottom left corner of the message. And once you do, you'll see you've gained access to a whole bunch of channels. Before we dive into them, though, let's take a look at the next steps. The second step is to introduce yourself. You don't have to do this if you don't quite feel comfortable sharing your story, but if you would like to, please feel free to do so. Just click the Introduce Yourself channel link either in the message or here on the left sidebar. I'll click the message link. And here is the introduction chat channel. Just note that when you share your story, try to do so in one message because you are limited to one message every 6 hours in this server. And we do that so that we can allow people as they join the server and introduce themselves to share their stories without a conversation going on that will distract from the story sharing. The next step is to hop over to the general chat. And again, you can do that by either clicking the link here or clicking the link in the channel list. So hop into the general chat and say hello. You could start a conversation. You could also just join into a conversation that's already going on. Or you could just lurk for a little bit to get a sense for how people are talking. Now, if you'd like, you could actually have your pronouns show up next to your nickname in both the list of people here and in the chat itself. So the way you do that is by typing the command !my pronoun is, and then typing in your pronouns. Hit enter, and you'll notice that my pronouns have now shown up right there. If you would like to see a list of the pronouns that are available, go over to the right sidebar, right-click My Pronoun Bot, click Message, and then type the command, my pronoun list, hit enter, and you'll see a list of the available pronouns. There are 5 pages of pronouns available, so if yours are not right here at the beginning, click the little arrows to go through the pages to find your pronouns. And once you've found them, you can use them when you type in the command. Okay, let's take a look at the channel list. So the first one is the general chat channel, and this is where you can converse with other members about anything and everything. Next is the Awful Religious Trash channel, where you can vent about whatever religious BS you're dealing with. It's also a good place to share screenshots of the terrible religious stuff you might come across on other social media platforms. You know, it's healing and cathartic to get that stuff out of your system and laugh or cringe about it with fellow escapees. Next is the Other Podcast channel. If you want to share a non-Dauntless podcast with us, feel free to post links in this channel. Just be sure to write a quick message as to why you want the group to check out that podcast. The next channel is the social media channel. And this is where automatic notifications about the Dauntless podcasters' social media posts will show up. Below that is the meme collection. And this is where you can share any memes, especially memes related to religion, that you might find funny or cringeworthy. The next section here are the podcast-specific channels. These are the ones that are related to our Dauntless podcasts. So each Dauntless show has its own dedicated channel devoted to conversations about that show. So if you want to talk about what you heard in Chapel Probation, for example, you go into that channel and share some thoughts about the latest episode, or any episode for that matter. And finally, we have the voice channels. People might hang out in one of these channels to join like a Zoom-like video call with or without your camera on. You could play some casual games together in the game room. Discord has some cool games for Discord users to play with other server members. We might have like a casual hangout or a discussion evening where we talk about specific deconstruction-related topics, or really just about anything. We might actually schedule some hangout events. So check the top of the left sidebar for a list of any events that we might have on the calendar. There are also some hidden channels which you can access by taking on different roles in our server. So when you head over to channel roles and you click one of these icons down here at the bottom of this embedded message, you can gain access to additional chat channels that are based on topics that might not be universally applicable. So if you're, let's say, a tech head or an audio engineer, click the little keyboard to gain access to the Techie Talk channel. If you're a podcaster or you want to learn about podcasting, click the microphone icon to gain access to the Podcasters channel. If you're a sports fan, click the little hockey stick icon to gain access to the Sports Ball chat. And if you're a sci-fi or a fantasy nerd, click the Vulcan salute to gain access to the Sci-Fi and Fantasy channel. And lastly, I want to make mention of ways that you can get some help or support in the Discord server. If a conversation is getting out of hand or if somebody is breaking the server rules, type a message in the chat and tag moderators, and someone will step in to handle the situation. If you need help with something else in the server that isn't related to the conversation, type a message and tag admin, and one of the server administrators will try to help. Server administrators will try to help you. Now that you've gotten a sense for what our Discord server is like, feel free to explore or just dive right into the conversation. We're so glad you're here, and we're looking forward to chatting with you.